at AT&T Stadium.
Anything that move between these lines, gotta get dealt with.
10-5, and he streaks in. Deep to the post to Lamb. At the 5, to the goal line.
Dallas Cowboys Game Night is presented by AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, where the football world had all eyes on the Cowboys taking on the Green Bay Packers in Week 4 of the NFL season. It was a wild one, to say the least, and at the end, 40-40 the final score. It ends in a tie. Barry Church, Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Yeomans. You guys and myself have been a part of some interesting and intriguing broadcasts, some incredible games back and forth, the highlights flowing in certain games. I don't know if I remember one quite as unbelievable as what this one turned out to be on Sunday Night Football in Week 4. Barry, I don't know even where to start on.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Where do we start, Nate? Because when you look at it, I mean, the roller coaster of emotions that this game provided everybody was just unbelievable. The back and forth. Defensively, when I look at this team, you saw a lot of fight.
Yeah.
You saw a lot of fight from this team. No give in. You didn't see, the performance that you saw from Chicago or New York. You saw a semblance of a pass rush. I'm not saying it was perfect, but they made life for Jordan Love kind of uncomfortable back there, especially in the second half. You saw guys like James Houston get involved. You saw guys like Odigizua go out there and show flashes. Still a little bit that, they got to work on as far as the secondary is concerned with giving up these explosive chunk plays, but I can live with the fight that this defense had. Offensively, I mean, that's what you love to see. That's what you talk about, a man putting his team on his back, and I'm talking about Dakota Rain Prescott. All right, this man went out there, put the team on his back. Completions, Pickens came alive, Turpin, Tolbert, if you watch the pregame show, I said, I don't know who's going to be the second option out there because Tolbert's been so inconsistent throughout his time here with the Cowboys, but that man showed up in a big way, and Dakota Prescott, once again, put the team on his shoulder. It was an emotional game. I mean, back and forth. I just loved every bit of it. Nate, what you think about this one, man?
You know what, man? I criticize the defense, but the middle of the defense, Solomon, Osa, Clark, they played, man, especially early to keep them in there because Cowboys' offense came out slow, kind of conservative, running the ball. The first series just 3 and out, but I like how they just kept churning and kept making plays, and they knocked the young Love off his spot a lot of times. So when you see that right there, just the fight, man. Now, remember we all said, too, hey, they're going to lose by 2.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I know it's not a win, but homeboy sure be straight up losing.
That's facts.
Yeah. And it's an odd feeling, not to be completely honest, because whenever you look at the way that they've walked back into the locker room, Dak running behind us currently, but they showed some bright spots. They showed some opportunity there, especially on the offensive side. I thought the way that George Pickens stepped up showed that he can be a number one. You can talk about a number of different things. We've got some highlights playing off to the side here, but for the most part, this is a game that you can build off of without the consequences of a loss, even though there were times where you probably should have lost this game too.
Yeah, without a doubt. And to further, give the offense their flowers, I love what I saw from Javonte Williams out there. I mean, this is a guy from the very first game against Philadelphia till just now has been running as hard as I've ever seen anybody run in the backfield. I mean, the way he's throwing tacklers off, always falling forward, he has that extra dog in him that you love to see in the backfield. And for all what we talked about with this banged-up offensive line, from losing your stud rookie out there, from the inconsistent plays of the tackles out there, you had a defensive line in Green Bay that they were hunters. I mean, they went out there, they like to pin their ears back and get after the quarterback. Our man, Parsons, did he sniff Dak Prescott the entire game?
Not really.
Not really. That offensive line played well. They opened up lanes for Javonte Williams, and they protected their quarterback, and that's what I believe led to the 40-burger we saw today.
You cannot just look at this team and first of all, Shoddy. Before I go to rambling, Shoddy, Coach Osmosis, whatever you want to call this man, did he not call a sweet
Unbelievable.
game? And Dak just executed it, man. And then I'm looking at Pickens, he'll get 6 or 7. Bro, he got about 12.
Yeah.
I mean, 130-something yards, 2 TDs.
2 tubs.
The dude was doing what he had to do. And then my number 2, I'm riding with him now, Jalen Tolbert. That great catch at the end.
Toe tap, man.
You know what? Man, I don't want to get emotional, man, but I'm close.
You like what you saw?
Yeah, and hey, at the end of the day, you're still 1-2-1. There's still work left to be done. You did allow 40 points on the defensive side of the football, but with all of it being said and done, you feel a little bit better about your football team based off of the things that you've seen in this football game. This first segment was the first word presented by Dr. Pepper. It is a Pepper thing. We've got more to come. Cowboys game night. We've got highlights on the other side of the break. We did keep up to date with what happened all the way into fourth quarter and OT. More to come right after this.
This segment is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Dallas Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
Welcome back into Cowboys game night. Let's take a look at how this one unfolded. Micah Parsons returning to AT&T Stadium for the first time since being traded to the Green Bay Packers. Because of all what happened, we have to fast forward to the fourth quarter. Green Bay down by 3, but not for long. Josh Jacobs, who had an incredible day on the ground, rumbles his way in from 18 yards out to put Green Bay up 27-23. But Dallas not done yet. They would continue fighting out of the Wildcat. Javonte Williams works into the end zone. It's 30-27. Dallas back up by 3, just under 5 minutes to play in the fourth. But Green Bay continues under the 2-minute warning. Romeo Doubs, that was his third touchdown grab of the day, would put Green Bay up 34-30. Dallas did have time left and a couple timeouts. They didn't need him. George Pickens turns the corner, gets up the left sideline, and hits the pylon for his second touchdown of the night. This put Dallas up 37-34 with time dwindling in the fourth quarter. But you know anything about Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers, they are not going to back down. They get into field goal range. Brandon McManus drills it from 53 yards out to tie it up at 37 apiece. We're going to overtime in week 4 of the NFL season. The Cowboys won the toss. They go on offense first. Dak Prescott from 39 yards out, running out of time, has to heave it deep. Jalen Tolbert works back to the football, keeps both feet in bounds, gets the arms underneath it. One of the best plays of Jalen Tolbert's career, keeps Dallas alive and puts them on the doorstep. However, they did not convert on first, second, or third and goal. They leave it up to Brandon Aubrey. He kicks a 22-yard field goal to put Dallas up 40-37. Green Bay drives down with 6 seconds left. They decide to throw it in the back of the end zone. It's incomplete, but just 1 second remains. That gives enough time for McManus again to drill a field goal from 34 yards out, and that would do it. All tied up between the Cowboys and the Packers. A handshake for Coach LaFleur, Coach Schottenheimer, Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott, nothing but smiles afterwards, because in a game as crazy as that one, you can just give a sigh of relief if you're both organizations. 40-40, the final score here from AT&T Stadium. And I know we reviewed it in the first segment here on Cowboys Game Night, but Barry, for the most part, this is a team that needed a win. They don't get it, but they got close enough to at least build off of going into week 5.
Yeah, you know, as a player, you don't want to talk about any moral victories or anything like that. But when you go into a game like this, you see the fight from both sides. No one ever giving up out there. And you saw people raise their level of game out there. When you look at it, no CeeDee Lamb. Who's going to be the next option besides the George Pickens? And everybody stepped up around him. Your boy Tolbert stepped up, made huge plays out there. Ferguson, Turpin was out there doing his thing. Javonte Williams. I mean, there's so many guys that on that offensive side of the football that raised their level, that it brought to, 40 points out there for the offense. So to me, hats goes off to the offense. Defense, you got some things to work on, but overall, it was a heck of a game.
What are some of those things to work on, Nate, on the defensive side of the ball? Because there's going to be a little bit of talk about the 40 points.
Just a little bit better tackling. Yeah. That's all it is. Our linebackers, it was kind of iffy. They got to come up and hit linebackers and knock people back. Our safeties played okay. Corners came up and made a difference today. Just you went against a team that was, I think, player for player better.
Yeah.
And you raised your level of play. Your competition showed tonight. It's not a win, but, hey, you fought hard.
And you're going to have to raise your level of play as the season goes on, because teams are going to play you differently now that they've seen this result here in Week 4. When we come back, we're going to have post-game reaction from inside the Cowboys locker room that's literally right across the wall from where we stand. Matt LaFleur, Dak Prescott battling it out in Week 4. It ends in a tie, 40-40. More Cowboys game night after this.
This segment was brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Dallas Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
Cowboys game night rolls on here from inside AT&T Stadium. It was a big day for George Pickens, stepping into the wide receiver 1 role without CeeDee Lamb in the fold. The Cowboys now 0-5-1 with the tie today, 40-40, without CeeDee Lamb having a reception in the football game. Barry, when you looked at George Pickens in his day, he made some incredible plays, kept Dallas in it, and really was a catalyst for this offense all the way through.
Without a doubt. I mean, Pickens had an amazing game out there from start to finish. The way he was able to, win the one-on-one contested catches, win versus routes, get open there, catch everything. He had an unbelievable game. And when we talked about it in pregame show, it was what's the pros and cons of having a guy like George Pickens in the lineup. The pros, he's an unbelievable athlete. He has this freakish, this athletic ability. He can win these one-on-ones. But the cons was always, is he consistent? One half he'll be out there balling, the second half he'll disappear. One game he'll play well, the second game he'll disappear. This is the type of George Pickens that this Dallas Cowboys team needs, the consistency of being that 1A or 1B to CeeDee Lamb when he gets back. So if he can be this type of Pickens that we see against the Green Bay Packers, they'll have a dynamic duo going forward.
His routes were crisp and nice. He beat double teams. He got separation. That's what we always worry about. With the lazy routes, but he got separation today. He made big plays. He came up big in every aspect. He did a good job of coming in and filling in and being CD today.
8 receptions on 11 targets, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 at the end of the first half that put Dallas up, and then 1 at the end of the fourth quarter that put Dallas up by 3, both of which in clutch situations. Yet it was George Pickens that got the number, got the call. And that doesn't even count the play down the left sideline that got him down to the 1-yard line and a couple other opportunities. George Pickens showing again that he is capable of being a wide receiver 1. We've got more to come. Cowboys and Packers tie at 40. Cowboys game night rolls on.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
40-40 the final score in week 4 of the NFL season. Let's talk a little bit about the Dallas defense in this one. 489 yards allowed to Green Bay. On the offensive side, they averaged 6.2 yards per play. The big thing about the Dallas defense is they set up things well on first and second down, but they were just 10 for 14 trying to shut down this Green Bay Packers offense on third down. That's the money down for a reason, Barry Church. You got to get off the field when you're in third and medium or third and long situations.
Yeah, without a doubt, and that's what Eberflus is going to be extremely hot about, losing the money down situation. You always want to have that offense lower than 40% when it comes to third down, because that's how you stay on the field. That's how you get tired out there. So they got to get better on third down. But overall, I thought the defense, there's holes in there, but the fight, like I talked about earlier, was huge with these guys. But what I loved what they did as far as coaching, they started rotating some players in there. You didn't see that same starting lineup that you saw from New York, that you saw from Chicago. You saw some guys rotating in there, whether it was Wanye Thomas out there or you saw some of the corners rotating as well. And maybe that lit a fire under these guys to say, you know what, I got to step my game up. I got to play a little bit better. What they did today, it was good. Was it perfect by any stretch of the imagination? Not at all. They're going to have to get better if they want to go to the place that they need to go, which is the playoffs. But that's a long way away. But for me, this defense, they showed some fight, and you can win with that as well.
Their assignments was much better, especially in the secondary. Like I said earlier, the linebackers have to tackle much better.
Yes, they do.
If this team tackles better, you get half of those third downs and you get off the field, and it could have been a difference. Tackling is so key in this situation.
What did you see from the tackling standpoint?
Oh, it was a lot of guys not seeing what they're hitting. What I mean by that is when you're taught to tackle somebody, you're supposed to be face up. You're supposed to put your face mask right on that individual. You saw a lot of heads ducking to the side, arm tackling, one-on-one tackles that we talked about all leading up to the season that Eberflus is not going to want any parts of. His one-on-one tackles. It's all about gang tackling and keeping the cup. You didn't see that today. You saw one-on-one tackles, arm tackles, and guys were able to run through that like a Josh Jacobs, like a Jordan Love when you scrambled out there. So to me, they got to get better tackling, and that starts at the second level with your linebackers and your defensive line.
One of the things that did stand out about this game was the rotation at the safety position because they've been under significant scrutiny throughout the season. Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker rotating in and out. You saw a little bit more of Wanye Thomas, who played well, had the block on the point after attempt earlier that was returned for 2 points by Marquise Bell. So with all that being said, you think there's going to be a rotation, but then Malik Hooker leaves with a toe injury. Yeah. He did not return. We just saw him walk out of the locker room a moment ago, and he was walking fine, which is a good sign. Yeah. It looked like it could have been much worse.
No boot.
What did you see after the safety position kind of saw some rotation in this game, and then, of course, the injury to Malik Hooker?
Well, what I saw out there was a lot of guys talking, and that's what they've been missing these past couple games. The communication was huge. You saw guys relaying the information to their corners. Hey, this is the call I got. Let me make sure you got the call over there. Let me make sure he has the call in the nickel spot, because, hey, if we all play the wrong call, at least we're all on the same page. You cannot have half of your secondary playing one thing and the other half playing the other thing. That's how those explosive plays happened in those past 2 games. So the communication was at an all-time high today. And like I said before, you can win with communication within your secondary. It's when guys aren't talking. Guys are just kind of focusing on what they got to do and not worried about the other teammates out there is where you get explosive plays. But I saw a lot better communication from the secondary this afternoon.
You know, and you didn't see no heads drop all through this game. And that lets you know that everybody's confident. They're still learning. Another game next week, they'll be okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's a lot to talk about in this matchup. Of course, the talk going into the matchup was about Micah Parsons and his return to AT&T Stadium. When we come back, we're going to talk about how he fared in his first game in Arlington as a Green Bay Packer. Made his return. Did he make an impact in this matchup? We'll talk about it next.
To watch more Dallas Cowboys content on your connected TV, download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV. Dallas Cowboys Game Night was presented by AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
40-40 the final score. Dallas and Green Bay ending in a tie in Week 4. Before we wrap up on Cowboys Game Night, let's hear from wide receiver George Pickens after a big day against the Packers.
Is this what you anticipated it being a game that played out this way?
Nah, most definitely not anticipated this way. But like I said, we can't complain, can't control. We can only control what we can control. I feel like we executed well on offense, and defensively we stopped them just enough, I feel like.
Do you feel like it's time to do away with tie games in the NFL?
Yeah. Just for me personally, I know NFL organization, it's a good look, but for me, I want to win or lose, one of the two.
You guys didn't have CD tonight, but you stepped up like you normally do as a one receiver. Can you talk about some of those catches, including the last touchdown, because that was epic?
I'll probably just say get my route up, and then after that, run after catch. You know what I mean? Especially knowing the situation too. Knowing like the DB going to overcommit, and it's the end of the game. We trying to score. If we can score, we can definitely get the lead.
Can you take us through the catch before halftime? Yeah. Double covers out the sideline. That one was.
Yeah.
We all thought, how in the world we catch that?
Yeah. I think it was the guy was pressed. It was man. The safety. The ball just hung up to let the safety come over in time, and I feel like just making a great catch. Like I said earlier in the week, trying to make plays for Dak with CD being out.
How important was it?
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot of trust. And I feel like what I can control as me as a playmaker, that's going to make him trust me more, make him more pleased.
We feel you, George. Hey, what you can control, he controlled pretty well here in Week 4. Wrapping things up with Barry and Isaiah. And Barry, I'll start with you. We got to move on to the Week 5 matchup with the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium. Where do you start?
Well, when you look at this game, it wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Offensively, defensively, it wasn't perfect. But you can win with the fight, like I talked about. You can win with the guys out there running through brick walls for each other. One thing I would like this team to clean up with is the penalties. That last penalty from Maricia foul almost cost them. But the fight, you can win with.
Since I'm Isaiah, I'm going to tell you to tackle better.
Oh, I said Isaiah. My bad. Hey, it's all habit here. We're moving into it. We're going to move on. We're going to put this one behind us. It's a wash. Cowboys and Packers, 40-40, the final score here in Week 4. It was a supercharged, emotional atmosphere at AT&T Stadium. We saw some high flyers in this one. For Barry Church and Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long from Cowboys Game Night.